Excellent. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Buchner, partner with Boston Consulting Group, and I'm very pleased to share with you today morning a shared vision of KUKA, AWS, and BCG, how an industrial software toolchain can help to save costs and boost productivity. Please join me in welcoming Andreas Frank, business lead at KUKA, today morning here on stage. But before Andreas actually shares with you how you can leverage an industrial software toolchain in the cloud and impacting your engineering processes, let me share with you the challenge the industry is facing. Maybe this picture sounds familiar to some of you. The difficulty in today's world is that if you plan a new factory or a manufacturing process, you really need to coordinate work across different disciplines. Just to name a few, think of the mechanical engineering, the electrical engineering, software development, factory automation. And in most cases, you not only need to coordinate this within your company, but also beyond your organizational boundaries. But next to the challenge of coordinating work, the next challenge is actually that it's also you need to deal with a heterogeneous industrial software toolchain. So if you plan your engineering processes, your CAD application, your simulation tools, nowadays you have the choice as customer. There are many vendors available, and it's up to you which kind of software tool you would like to use. But the difficulty in today's world is that if you want to plan your engineering processes, you need to manage these software tools. You need to manage the vendor, you need to manage update processes, you need to maintain it. You also need to manage the underlying hardware. And let me give you a concrete example. Let's assume you design a new factory. You are an automotive OEM. It's Monday morning, first day of your project. The entire factory at first is actually split into different disciplines. So let's assume, for example, you need to coordinate your material flow and logistics, your welding cell, or your quality inspection station. All of this is actually split into different sub-projects. Now you start the tender process. So you reach out to different solution integrators and ask them to actually come up with a draft of these individual projects. And on the solution integrator side, a proposal engineer is picking up your request and starts working and drafts the first version of the intended, for example, welding cell. The difficulty is, once the first draft is created, the proposal engineer on the solution integrator side needs to detail out this concept. Detailing out this concept means that you as an automotive OEM, you also share some requirements. You share requirements on what software tool should be used to do this, in which version. You also have a clear interest of what kind of PLC you're using, either it's a Siemens, a Beckhoff, a Rockwell, or someone else. And you as a solution integrator, you need to fulfill all these requirements. And this at the end means you need to coordinate and manage a lot of administrating processes to do your work. And what I'm telling you is not what BCG or KUKA comes up with. This is customer voice. This is what we hear from customers doing this day to day. They complain about managing different PLC environments. They complain about managing software versions. And the difficulty is also, if there is a request on a very short notice, it takes time for these companies to actually react and set up all these infrastructure needed to fulfill the request. And this is where the vision of KUKA, AWS, and BCG comes into play. Let me hand over to Andreas.
Yeah, Till, thank you so much. Of course, also the KUKA customers are facing these pains. And the question is, how could we tackle them? How do we see what can be a solution, what can be an offering to get rid of these pains? So when we say three major things, one thing is collaboration. Collaboration over different companies within the company in different departments is a key to change that. The second thing is, of course, the industrial software itself. Yeah? And if you want to have access to this software, to this industrial software, this access needs to be as simple as possible. Yeah? This will help, in the end, our customers to tackle the pain points we just heard from Till. And, of course, the industrial software, the new way of use of this software needs to be also in place, meaning software license for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years is maybe not a perfect fit when you just need an industrial software for maybe 4 weeks in a project. So this means costs, this means impact, setup of workspaces, expensive workspaces for users, and so on. So these are the 3 things. To get to that point, a very important part to make the life easier is, of course, cloudification. So meaning working in a cloud helps here to tackle these points. One thing is the license management. The enhanced license management that can be handled over the cloud completely differently. Yeah? The idea is to have here access to the license for 4 weeks, sharing license then, and so on. The second thing is we all, KUKA, every company on a global level is facing a challenge of a lack of skilled workers. So meaning, again, setting up workspaces for employees in your location is not state of the art anymore. You may have employees that work from a different location. They need to have access to the same kind of license, the same kind of software. So that is a very challenging point in the second step. Collaboration, I already mentioned, meaning also the wording integrated tool chain over different companies that working together. You have as an integrator also maybe third-party companies that are working for you. You need to offer him the same framework, the same offering, the same access to software, to data and everything. And of course, the fourth point is also for this, by offering industrial and access to industrial software in this way, you allow your customers to scale more easily. This will help them to have access to new businesses, yeah? To open here also maybe the path to future growth. We see this as a global thing, from CAD software to automation software. Everything can run in the cloud. Everything can be linked together here. Yeah, so it's not isolated for one of these phases, I would call it. It's really a solution for industrial software worldwide. So we have here, as I already mentioned, a multi-layer approach, and I just want to picture it here. Yeah? One thing is we have the tools. So the engineering software can be launched from any time, anywhere. Yeah? This will help. The second thing is the files. We have the data, the licensing, the versions of the software that we use, sharing this information. This is an important second layer to be successful in that. The third layer is the processes, of course. It will increase efficiency. It will help to scale the business, to have better habits also for our customers in their business, to work more efficient and to deliver projects on time, which is a very important part in that whole story. And last but not least, via the cloud, you have also the computing power to also run simulation software. Yeah? Meaning, again, you don't need an expensive workspace on site with expensive hardware. This all can run via the cloud, so easy access to also quite complex simulation software as an example. So, as a conclusion, I think we both wanted to show you the vision of what BCG, AWS and KUKA is working on currently. And from my point of view as a business lead, I have to say stay tuned. And Till, any last words, any mentions from your side?
I can fully underline what Andreas is telling us. And as you have seen, so from a technical feasibility point of view, it is doable. Thanks to cloud computing, thanks to technologies like AppStream and virtualization, it's doable to shift and lift your workload, which today is on-premise, into the cloud, and to stream applications to to your clients, to your laptop, to thin clients. And this is already invented. AWS is providing the underlying infrastructure and technology to do this. And now it's all about to productize this so that clients actually can use it and impacting your engineering processes. I think the benefits are clear. At the end, you could return much faster to requirements out of, for example, automotive industry or other industries. And you can ease the collaboration and coordination of work across companies, inside your company and outside the company. I think this is one of the key strengths of this approach. So let me close with these words and open up for any questions.
Thank you so much.
Other questions?
Okay, no question means everything is clear. That's a good sign.
There was a question of when this vision is turned into a product and if there is a potential launch date you can share.
I have to stay tuned. It's not too far away, but I don't want to mention now a date or a launch date or something like that. But we are heavily working on that to launch something.
Do you know already what will be the business model for customers to access the platform?
Sorry, again, can you repeat?
Yeah, the business model for customers to access the platform. What will be it? So will it be a license base?
Yeah, of course. The idea is the access for the customer should be as easy as possible, and of course not only for one or two or three different softwares. So we are working on partnerships here with many well-known companies, and that is also the key for success. Yeah.
And maybe to your question, the idea is that now you could benefit because you can manage software licenses, so your operating costs much more efficient. In today's world, maybe you need to buy a software license and you just use it one or two times, but you need to buy the full license. And now here the idea is that it's more like usage-based. Whenever you use the software application as a service, yes, you will pay a fee for it, but if you don't use it, you don't pay for it. Yeah. And this gives you much more flexibility.
It's a kind of SAS approach, yeah? Pay what you use.
And we see in total the entire ecosystem is, let's say, turning into software. Yeah? Look into the automation world is turning into software. We see a lot of things virtualizing. Also, look, Siemens announced a new VPLC, a software PLC. So we see that hardware is turning into software, and now we think there's also the right point of time that also the industrial software toolchain benefits very much from cloud computing, and it's shifting and lifting into the cloud. And at the end, the benefit is for the customers, because you have much more flexibility in using these services.
Yeah.
And this is
and with this kind of offering, you give customers access to software that they maybe cannot afford. If they think about smaller integrators or something like that, there are sometimes blocking points in terms of invest into very expensive software. This will change the user game here.
And we think at the end that's just a starting point. A starting point in a journey where we really believe will improve the interoperability across application domains. And I think that's also a great connect to Timo Kistner from NVIDIA, who presented up front. So there are a couple of initiatives within our ecosystem which foster the interoperability, because this is of really importance, because in today's world we really work still in data silos, and this is one approach and one idea how to prevent this. And once we actually reach the cloud, we can benefit from cloud computing. We are in one namespace. It's much easier to exchange data and actually cross data silos. So please stay tuned. I'm sure there will be an update over the coming weeks and months from KUKA, AWS, and BCG. And do not hesitate to reach out to any one of us, Andreas, myself. Yeah. There are also some others here around. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.